Coaster Critic.
Hello coaster fans, today I'll be reviewing Millennium Force at Cedar Point. It has been a long time since I've done a coaster review, so I thought I would do one of the most well-known coasters in the entire world. So Millennium Force is a giga coaster, and it was actually the first ever giga coaster built. For those of you who don't know, a giga coaster is a roller coaster that is over 300 feet tall. Millennium Force opened in 2000, hence the name Millennium Force. It was built by Intamin and cost roughly $25 million to build. I've rode Millennium Force many times and it is my favorite coaster at Cedar Point. If you want to see my top 10 Cedar Point roller coasters, click the link in the top right corner. So anyway, here's how this review will work. I will give Millennium Force a score out of 10 in 7 categories. The first 3 categories are all based on the actual stats. Those are the height, the speed, and the duration of the ride. Then the drop, the intensity, the smoothness, and then finally the theming of the coaster. I will also talk about the popularity of the ride, but it will not count against the ride's final score. At the end of the review, I will total the scores up and give it a score out of 70, but I will also give it a score out of 10 based on my personal opinion. So here we go. First up is the height. Millennium Force will be receiving a 10 for the height. The height of this coaster is 310 feet tall. This makes it the 7th tallest roller coaster in the entire world. This is the 2nd tallest roller coaster at the park, behind Top Thrill Dragster, but they are 2 completely different types of coasters. Speed will be next. I'll be giving Millennium Force a 10 once again. Millennium Force reaches a max speed of 93 miles per hour. Again, that makes it the 7th fastest in the entire world. Obviously, it does lose speed after the first drop, but I really don't notice it due to the hills, tunnels, and overbank turns. The next category is the duration. Millennium Force has a ride time of 2 minutes and 20 seconds. That's a little over average, I'd say, so I'll be giving it a 6 for the duration. Compare that to Fury 325, for example, which oddly enough has a duration of 3 minutes and 25 seconds. It is not the longest ride, but it is definitely not short either. Now for the drop. I love Millennium Force's drop. I will be giving it a 9.5, one of the best drops I have been on. On a clear day, you can actually see Canada while going up the lift hill. After the 300-foot drop at an angle of 80 degrees, you go right into a 169-foot tall overbank turn, then into one of the 2 tunnels on this ride. Next up is the intensity. Many people have said they found Millennium Force to be rather forceless. I would have to disagree. It is not the most intense coaster I've ever rode, but I don't think by any means it is forceless. I'm giving it an 8 for intensity. Smoothness is the next category. In my opinion, Millennium Force was smooth. Nothing to the smoothness of newer rides like Fury 325 or Intimidator 305, but I don't think you need to complain about it being rough. For smoothness, I'm giving it another 8. Lastly, we have the theming. There really isn't a theme to this ride, but it has a theme feeling to it. It's hard to explain. It's called Millennium Force because it opened in a new millennium, so the station is kind of futuristic, so to say. They also have station music playing when you load on as well, so I'll be giving it a 4 for theming. It has a really futuristic feel to it, but no theming on the ride itself. So that brings us to the popularity of the ride. Millennium Force, like I said, is one of the most well-known roller coasters in the world. It constantly has one of the longest lines in the park, but nothing like when it first opened. When it first opened, people waited over 4 hours just to ride Millennium Force. Millennium Force is constantly ranked high in coaster polls. This coaster and Bizarro at Six Flags New England have held the top 2 places in the Golden Ticket Awards since 2001. It has been voted number 1 9 times and was actually voted number 1 again this year for the best steel roller coaster. So after adding up all the scores, Millennium Force receives a final score of 55.5 out of 70. A very good score. Now for my personal score. I'll be giving Millennium Force a 10 out of 10. It is definitely in my top 3 for my favorite roller coasters I have ridden. So that'll do it for my review of Millennium Force at Cedar Point. Thanks for watching and please be sure to stay tuned for more coaster reviews and coaster videos.